Okay, I'm gonna share it right away. Okay, go ahead. Fucking giggle box over there. That's how we're starting the show.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Wisco Fanatics, Packers Friday Night Edition. We are joined by everybody's favorite, Simon and not Bryant.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, man. Dude, I like giving you digs, man, because you take it and you give it back, so it's just fun for me. No, we welcome Bryant and Simon, obviously. Haven't had a Packers episode in a while, so I've been waiting for this one, looking forward to it. A lot of chat in our back chat, waiting for this. So I wanted to ask you guys, did you guys see ESPN's top 10 running backs list today?
Yeah, it was garbage.
I didn't see the list, but I heard that Aaron Jones is not on it, and I just don't understand it. Hey.
Yeah, so it pissed me off. A lot of people were sharing stuff. Big B on Instagram, he's pretty active on there. And who am I thinking of? Wild Crazy Eye. Who am I thinking of? Can't think of
Ramage.
Matt Ramage.
That's pretty rude that's your association.
Listen, I got a Crazy Eye too, so I feel like Crazy Eyes stick together. So I'm cool with it. He's fine.
He makes fun of himself for it all the time.
He's a very good sport about it.
So, anyways, they shared a stat about Aaron Jones. He's the only player since 2019 to have 4,000 rush yards and 1,500 receiving yards, but he's not a top 10 running back.
Did they? My question is, I haven't seen the list. Did they have any incoming rookies ahead of him?
No.
They didn't have Bijan
Robinson.
There?
No.
So I'd be interested who they have.
Free agent Dalvin Cook was number 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson was on there. That was surprising to me.
What? Over Aaron Jones?
Yeah. He was like number 5 or 6.
Tony Pollard was number 9.
Yep.
Oh, what a joke! What a terrible.
They had Nick Chubb, which
Yeah, he belongs on there.
Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the list off the top of my head here. I cannot look on my phone.
I can tell you right now that Ramondre Stevenson and Pollard should not be over Jones.
Who?
Mixon?
I don't remember.
I forget exactly.
I do not remember.
That's not even a homer take. That's insane that they would put Ramondre Stevenson. Don't get me wrong; it could be very good, and Tony Pollard over Aaron Jones. I just don't understand it.
Stevenson's a good power back.
He doesn't have to share the backfield with anybody anymore now.
Yeah,
the thing for Ramondre.
But Aaron Jones
doesn't matter. Aaron Jones still produces.
He was an honorable mention.
Aaron Jones was an honorable mention.
Oh, it was Chubb, McCaffrey, Jacobs, Barkley, Henry, Taylor, Kamara, Cook, Pollard, and Eckler.
Kamara? I'm not even with Kamara anymore,
No,
dude.
I'm
really not.
Yeah, all of them over Aaron Jones is just so disrespectful.
Yeah, that's
you have to do it consistently for a certain amount of time. It's just like, and that's what Jones has done.
Yeah, he's averaging over 4.5, 5 yards per carry.
5 yards a carry his whole career.
That's
he's like
disgusting
all time, and
that is
per carry
disgusting
for his career.
Yikes!
I didn't understand that.
So I
saw Jones wasn't on it. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, he's so humble. He's not
when I looked at the list,
you know what I mean?
I was like, wow, dude, that's just wrong in so many ways. So yeah. Anyways, how's life been, Simon? How you doing?
Hanging in there. It is what it is.
You just remind me of the old dudes at my work in the morning. Like, morning, how you doing? They're like, I'm here. Like, all right, that's an answer.
I woke up this morning.
I'm on this dumb detail where all I do is hold these guys' hands and walk them station to station, and this, it's for this army badge, and you just hold their hand stations. I don't know why they put me on it. It's the least useful thing they could have done with me the last 3 weeks.
A bunch of cats, and they need someone with a higher IQ to wrangle them, I guess.
So somebody had to do it.
They could have given that to the dumbest person on base, and he would have been able to do
it. Brian, how's everything with you, man? I hear that you moved recently, so how'd that go?
Yeah, good. The move from Maryland to North Dakota is complete. I'm sitting in my new basement, so it'll be great to watch football on this big old TV back here and the setup. And
yeah, it looks like you have a lot more room, so that's nice.
Yeah. So
looks like you're not doing the show from your dining room table anymore.
Well, I used to be doing that. So I have an office that I'm refinishing. I'm putting some flooring down, stuff like that, and I'm gonna hang up all my Packer stuff in there. So hopefully by the end of the year I'll be in that. So
nice.
Sweet.
That'll look pretty cool, man. Tyler, how you been, man? Haven't talked to you since Wednesday.
I know it's been a long time since we last spoke.
Yeah, I mean we talked this morning technically, but
right. Good. So we have looks like 12 things that we're going to talk about with what we're going to be watching for from Jordan Love's development. As a very vocal proponent of wins and losses should not be a tracked stat for quarterbacks, this year is going to be even more important than that. I think the expectations of wins and losses should take a back seat to Jordan Love's development for the future. I honestly think that Jordan Love's future is more important than this season's record. I don't think that's a really hot take to say. But that said, I do think we are in a position where we may deal with more than 9 losses this year compared to last year. So we're not just going to be sitting here saying, oh, the Packers suck for 10 weeks out of the season, say the Packers go 7-10. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be watching Jordan Love's development. And so we're going to talk about what we are going to look for from Jordan Love's development. And I also put the question out to a handful of other Packers content creators. And I got responses back from Mike Spofford, who writes for Packers.com. He's been on the show. He gave us, fair warning, very long answers. Mike is great. He's honestly, every time we've had him on the show, he gives us great information and great insight.
Absolutely amazing guy.
He is. And then I heard back also from Andy Herman. He's very knowledgeable with his stuff. He obviously puts out Packers content literally every single day. And then John Del Rey
podcast right there.
Yeah. And then John Del Rey, who runs the Lombardi Time Brews podcast. Jake and I are doing a live show with him on August 17th, which we do have a venue for. We are going to be at Stadium View. So that's going to be Thursday, August 17th, after practice with the Patriots wraps up that day. So we're going right there after the Packers practice. So Greg is in the comments. He said, I used to be Jordan Love. This was back in 86. He said, I think the Packers have a good chance of any to win the division, sadly, until my Lions prove otherwise. And that's fair. I mean, the NFC North, I think, is more wide open than people act like it is.
I mean, the Buccaneers have as good of a chance as the Lions to win the North, right?
I mean, they've done it more recently, so.
Don't do that? Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by reading the answers that I got in response for the 3 guys that I got responses from. So I'm going to start with Mike Spofford, and then we're going to jump into the rest of them and then jump into ours. Adam said Jordan Love will do just fine, 25 touchdowns plus 5 rushing touchdowns. We're going to do stat projections
pretty close
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from today, we're doing our stat projections. That's gonna be a fun show.
It's my favorite episode, that and the review.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, so Spofford sent 2 things. He's got a lot of things to go with the 2 aspects, but the first one that Mike Spofford sent in is schematically, is the offense helping him? And this is something I hadn't even considered, so I appreciate this from him. So Mike Spofford said, when the Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur system is clicking, the running game, jet motion, and play action are all helping the quarterback run things smoothly. McVay got to his first Super Bowl with Goff and then Stafford. Shanahan did so with Garoppolo and then might have with Purdy if he'd not gotten injured. Motion helps pre-snap reads. The running game sets up play action, and play action is more effective from under center than shotgun. I suspect we're going to see more motion and less shotgun than we did with Rodgers. Last year, more shotgun was out of necessity due to the cracked thumb, but Rodgers also preferred it overall and was never crazy about the pre-snap motion. Seeing these elements work for the quarterback will help improve his development. In connection to that, here's what I'll be watching for, not so much live, but when I have a chance to review film. First, does the ball come out on time? If the releases are in rhythm, efficiency generally goes up. 2, is he finding open guys or is he trying to hit tight windows? Are there good reasons for the risk? Don't always fall for the replay that shows so-and-so wide open over here or over there. That guy might be the 3rd or 4th read in the progression, and he has no chance to get to him. What matters more are the targets he's throwing to open. If so, he's doing his job, and the offense is working for him. 3rd, are throws accurate both from the pocket and outside the pocket? That'll speak to his footwork and fundamentals. And last but not least, when he checks to a pass and just fires horizontally to an outside wide receiver, does the play have a chance for a good gain, or was it a poor decision/read based on the defense? These are what LaFleur refers to as run solutions, the checks where the backs and the O-line are still executing run, and he's made the decision at the snap to flip the ball outside He said this is what James Lofton likes to call a smoke route, which I think is a cool name for it. That's a little tidbit that he put in there for us. He said if the receivers got nowhere to go, it probably wasn't a good call, but sometimes that guy gets buried because of a missed block by a perimeter companion, which could mean it was a good read/decision, and the result was not on the quarterback. So I actually really like that. Going back to look to see if he's hitting open targets and not complaining that, this guy was wide open down the field, bringing up the progressions of it, which is something that we're going to talk about. So his second thing was crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
So the second thing that Mike Spofford said, how will he perform and function when the game is on the line? This is essentially what makes or breaks quarterbacks in this league because so many wins and losses are decided in the final minutes. Rodgers failed miserably in his first two crunch time moments in 2008, throwing interceptions at Tampa in week 4 and versus Atlanta in week 5. Then in week 10 at Minnesota, he put the offense in position for a game-winning kick from Crosby, which was missed, and he directed other late scores that as the season went along where the defense responded with breakdowns and the Packers still lost, like versus Carolina and Houston, and a late field goal was blocked at Chicago. The point is he doesn't start out well in crunch time, but did progress, and the big moments was evident, even if the final results didn't show it. He said, I bet at least half a dozen games will come down to what Love does or doesn't do in the final 5 minutes. Unfortunately, his first start in Kansas City in 2021, after he finally directed a scoring drive in the fourth quarter to get Green Bay within 13-7, the Chiefs ran out the clock and he didn't get the ball back. Then in that year's regular season and finale, he threw a couple picks late, but that was with a lot of backups on the field with him. Last year's Philly, the touchdown to Watson got the Packers within 37-30 with 9 minutes left. But then the defense allowed a 6-minute drive for a field goal, so he didn't get the ball back with 3 minutes left and down 2 scores again. His limited action hasn't provided much of a window, if any, into how he'll perform with the game on the line, so that's a big piece as his first year as a starter. So that's what Mike Spofford's going to be looking for. Essentially, the two main things are how he's fitting in the scheme and then how he's performing in crunch time. So those are the two big things for Mike Spofford. Anything you guys want to add in there before I jump on Andy Herman's? His is much shorter, so we got that.
No, I think Spofford's spot on.
Mike Spofford is fantastic. He said he'll be on the show again, so keep in touch. So he will definitely be back on the show during this season.
Love it.
Okay, so this is Andy Herman. So this is what he said. He said, it's not super sexy or groundbreaking, but I'm really watching turnovers and turnover-worthy plays. It's going to be a huge part of his development. And the other thing he said was how he responds when defenses throw a ton of shit at him he's never seen before. Those are probably my top 2.
Huh.
Great response. I mean, we've seen it in Kansas City already. Like he was just bombarded, but he was in a bad situation. That's not going to be that way this year.
He'll have more preparation time too.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, he's going to see a lot of stuff he has never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Greg said the coaching tree isn't no slouch either. That's fair. There's a lot of it out there. Okay, so this is John Del Rey from Lombardi Time Brews. We are going to be live with him on August 17th at Stadium View after the Packers practice that day. Adam said this guy makes me feel dumb. There's nothing for that. I mean, these guys do this for a living. Mike Spofford works for Packers.com, so he literally works for the team. And Andy Herman puts out Packers content literally every single day, and this is now his full-time job. That's where we hope to be.
A few weeks ago, he was able to take it over as his full-time job. So that's
and this next one is from John Del Rey. This is also his passion project that he's working on his everyday life too. And then we're going to go through ours. Each of us have 3 for a total of 12 aspects that we're going to watch that we're going to talk about on our show during the season. So last one from John Del Rey. He said, technique-wise, I'll be looking to see that Love's decision-making is not only correct but consistent. He needs that in order to keep his turnovers low and not revert back to some of his bad habits that were on display in college. He said, overall, though, I understand there will be peaks and valleys, but what I'm really aiming to understand is what his standard week looks like, and will it be enough to project to a franchise quarterback? He said, I believe it will, but he does have to prove it this year.
I thought that was a good response when I read that this morning, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. You guys ready to get into ours?
I am.
Let's do it.
So I will go first. The first one that I'm going to discuss is red zone decision making. Now, there's a bunch of decision making aspects that we have in here, we didn't lump it all into just decision making because different times, different places on the field, different situations call for different types of decision making. So starting with the red zone, my first thing with red zone decision making is not every throw needs to be into the end zone. You can trust throwing to a guy like Aaron Jones at the 5-yard line that he's going to then get into the end zone. Not every throw needs to score a touchdown. Not every throw needs to be into the end zone to score a touchdown. On third down, you don't need to try to force a ball into, say, double coverage, try to score a touchdown. 3 points is better than 0 points. Running the ball is okay. You don't have to check to it constantly as the quarterback, but obviously if the matchups dictate it, then do that. There'll be something to watch is if Love's running helps the offensive efficiency. So going back to the 2015 Panthers, that's something that they did a lot with Cam Newton. And that's how they were able to have one of the most efficient red zone offenses in recent history. And then just the Packers using a lot of pass catchers on the field can help give Love options. Obviously, guys like Aaron Jones and then all the wide receivers and the 2 new tight ends. So having more of those weapons on the field. And this is no dig to Mercedes Lewis, but he wasn't as big of a pass catching threat as these 2 rookies are projecting to be. Not to say that those 2 are better than Mercedes Lewis, but like I'm saying, they're projected to be more pass catching savvy than Mercedes Lewis. So second thing we're going to go to is another type of decision making, third down decision making, and Simon's going to talk about that.
All right, I was looking at something real quick. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
real quick, can I add, did you cover
Yeah,
this?
go ahead.
One thing I will be watching, just to add on to the red zone decision making, especially goal line. How often do we see Aaron check to a pass? I'm hoping that Jordan will trust, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon a little more in those situations. So
Sticking with
I'll
the
kind of be
run
watching
inside
out
the
for
5.
that too.
what was that like disgusting stat from last year? It was like Aaron Jones only had like 4 carries in the 5-yard line or something
0
like that.
carries. 0.
And
Was it
I
zero?
do
Was
believe,
it 1 or 2? It was 1.
I thought it was 1.
Thought it was 1.
yeah, I do believe that will be reined in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had to correct
I
myself.
fully expect Love to, I guess, allow Matt LaFleur's offense to be his rather than
Right.
Rodgers, really.
Mhm.
All right, so I got third down decisions. So going back to last year, the Packers were middle of the pack in third down conversion percentage with 39.5% rate. So they were 17th in the league. And I know I'm on third down, but also fourth down, we were 27th in the league with 38.71%. So, and the worst game last year, and I was doing a little bit of research versus the Commanders, which was a loss, 23-21. We didn't convert one single third or fourth down that whole game.
Holy shit.
So I will be looking a lot at, like I just talked about, how Jordan Love checks at the line of scrimmage, his ability to read the defense, and more specifically in third down situations, his ability to react to the blitz, as some of the guys wrote back to us about the start in Kansas City. Kansas City had 40 blitzing snaps that game.
Sheesh.
40. And then I think I didn't write it down. I think it was 21. So every time they had 21 pass rushing blitz snaps.
That's
So
insane.
and it worked all night.
And
He was constantly being blitzed, especially on third and long situations. I'm betting that their teams are really going to test Jordan Love on that early and often. So it's up to Love to make the correct checks, identify the blitzers, and make the right reads.
If you think about
Alrighty.
our first opponent that we're going to play, Chicago, I mean, I don't know how their pass rush was last year. I don't think it was devastating or
shit.
anything. It was
No,
pretty
they were
bad, right?
They were
So
probably the worst in the league.
they're probably going to blitz them a lot to try to get that extra pressure. So hopefully we're prepared for that.
Luckily, I don't think Chicago did much in the offseason to address pass rush. Like
No.
they didn't
They,
draft
they
anyone.
definitely didn't fill the pieces they traded last year.
Yeah. They really didn't shore up their pass rush that much.
They
Mhm.
did
They
better
might-
on their inside linebacking.
Yeah,
So they'll be
yeah,
better
right.
at
So
run
they're
defense.
they're
but their
off-ball
pass rush-
linebackers
Yeah.
for sure. Got enough
But I think they'll try to throw a lot of blitzes at him to create
Right.
pressure.
to supplement their inability to like send 3 or 4 guys.
Okay, so Bryant has the next set of decision making in the 2-minute drill.
Okay, so I kind of looked at this from 2 aspects. I'm really interested because it wasn't on our list. I'm really interested to see if we actually run a hurry up now, too, along with the 2-minute drill. And people might be like, well, you don't want to put your rookie into that. I actually, later on, I'll be talking about progressives, but a hurry up and a 2-minute drill, I like it more because it gives him that one read and it kind of forces his hand a little bit. So I think we should use it a little bit. But the big thing I'll be looking at for the 2-minute drill, not to keep bringing Aaron in this, but the one thing he was so good at was getting everyone up to the line, spiking the ball. Like, remember that play to Devontae Adams in San Francisco? It's like we're all screaming, hurry up, hurry up. He's like just so nonchalantly walking up to the line, spikes the ball for the game-winning field goal, right? So it's not going to come right away, but I'll be looking for him to get kind of more and more comfortable in the situation and kind of have a better feel for how much time he has and how much he can control the offense. Because a lot of times, the quarterback is calling a lot of those plays. So we'll see. I'll be kind of interested to hear Matt LaFleur talk about as it happens, how much freedom Jordan Love gets in those situations and see if that's something he can build into. But really just the way he handles and calls the 2-minute drill, the decision-making, will he make that throwaway to make sure they have another chance? Will he, not look for the touchdown if we just need a field goal? He'll just make sure, the main goal is to get in the field goal, get out of bounds, things like that. So really just kind of controlling and calling the offense and make sure, some younger quarterbacks can get a little too eager on the 2-minute drill and everyone's not lined up and they'll snap the ball and, you might have a penalty or a 2-minute runoff or 10-second runoff, and then you have to use a timeout you might not want to waste as well. So I'll kind of be looking for those things, just see how calm he is, really how collective and calm he is in those situations. And hopefully, I really hope that I know they practice it plenty, but in preseason, if he does play, they kind of, at least even if it isn't a 2-minute drill, they kind of treat one drive per preseason game that he plays in as a 2-minute drill, just to like our hurry up, just to see how, that he gets live action reps in that.
So 2 things. One, Steve made a top tier pun, making the right Jaden read. Nicely done.
Well
And then Adam said, I vision a more Philly style offense. Lots of running with Dylan, working the middle of the field with 2 tight end sets. 2 tight end sets is absolutely going to be a thing. That's a Matt LaFleur scheme thing. So there will absolutely be 2 tight end sets. Jones will be Jones, and Watson and Dobbs got another training camp under their belts. Love is much bigger and stronger than Rodgers, not to mention the locker room loves Jordan. He is very even keel. Looking forward to it.
I don't know how much bigger or stronger he is, but yeah, like
He's
using
bigger.
those tight ends.
He's at
bigger.
least 2
little bit,
inches
like an
taller,
inch,
maybe
yeah, inch
3
or
even.
he's 6'4", 220.
Yeah,
Rodgers
he's
was 6'2",
definitely bigger.
222.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So
For some
I
reason,
think
I thought
Jordan,
Rodgers was only like 6'2".
He
he had
6'2".
monster
He is.
legs.
Brett Favre was also 6'2", 222. Our last 2 quarterbacks were 6'2", 222.
Huh. Okay. Cool. Okay. So Jake is next. Jake's talking.
Can
Just
I go back one?
go ahead.
Just real quick to add on to Bryant. I think the 2-minute drill, because our offensive line is pretty veteran at this point. So Myers is going in his 3rd year.
Mhm.
JRJ is going into his 3rd or 4th year.
He's in the same draft class as Love, so this will be his 4th year.
Okay, so his 4th year.
Yeah, 4th year.
And then Nyman's pretty veteran, and then we got Bakhtiari and Jenkins. I think that'll absolutely help him in the 2-minute drill and minimize those penalties and stuff like that. So I think that'll absolutely help him.
Even if it's Tom at right tackle or whatever, he's already proven that he can play pretty a veteran in that
his
position.
second season
center.
going in.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. That's my opinion, but I don't think
Dude, Josh
so.
Myers was not that good last year, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun
It'll be
battle to watch.
interesting.
Definitely
That'll definitely be
a proven
something when we
year for
talk in
him.
2 weeks. That'll be
Yeah.
something we'll talk about. Okay, so Jake is going to talk just about essentially regular decision making, just things outside of special situations.
Yeah. So with regular decision making, the first thing that I thought of was just taking what the defense gives you, right? You don't always have to force the ball down the
That's a
field,
great point.
but you are working that fine line of not just checking down every single play. Sometimes you have to stretch the defense. And this offense this year has a ton of speed. That's what we're all excited about, right? We saw it with Watson. Jaden Reed looks super, super fast. Romeo Doubs is no slouch. Samori Toure can get down the field. And then obviously the upgrade in the tight end room, right? For me, when I was thinking about the tight ends, I was like, Musgrave is Watson from last year, and Kraft is more Romeo Doubs, where when I look at it like that, I'm thinking Kraft is probably a little bit more NFL ready. He's got the body. He runs tough. And Musgrave is more of the project, but he's also more of the boomer bust kind of play. Like I think
More raw talent.
Yeah, where like in the long run, Musgrave will probably be like a monster, just like Watson. And Dubs and Kraft are just going to be consistent people, right? On top of that, we need to make sure that LaFleur is calling the correct play. So when I was reading Spofford's response, I was like, he's reading off mine a little bit here, because at the end of the McCarthy era, I thought of, and I'm thinking of regular decision making, right? At the end of the McCarthy era, it was run, pass, punt. And all I heard my dad bitch about was, oh, are we in the fucking 80s again? And I'm like, oh, geez. So I'm just watching this, and I'm like, we have to make sure LaFleur is putting him in position to make those regular decisions correctly, right?
Oh, the outside pitch play on 3rd and 5.
God.
McCarthy special.
And I don't hate John Kuhn, but how many times are we going to hand it off to John Kuhn, bro? Seriously. Jesus Christ, it's 3rd and 6. Yup, 1 yard run with the fullback. That was fun, guys.
Brian, remember I used to bitch about the pitch play all the time. Fucking hated it.
That's awesome.
So
Brian,
then the last
muted.
thing that I'm looking at is if you make the right decisions in the early downs, you give yourself 3rd and manageable, 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s. And at that point, the entire playbook is open to you. So you got play actions. You got everything that you want. Tyler obviously knows how big of a fan we both are of play action. If you watch the show at all, we love play action. There will be some more under center stuff. I will say that. I agree with a lot what people are saying. I think Jordan Love's going to be a little bit more traditional. I have some numbers when I get to my next one, but yeah, just regular decision making is just taking what the defense gives you, right? Just don't force the issue if you don't have to.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. I'm really glad you said it that way, too. So the next thing for me is footwork. Spofford alluded to it a little bit with his footwork and talking about that. So looking at 3-step drops, 5-step drops, balance in his throws. If he's throwing off balance, just essentially making sure that it's not overly affecting the strength or accuracy on his throws. So not only the footwork as he's taking the snap, but also as he's making his throws. If it does affect his strength or accuracy to throw off balance, that'll be something he'll have to work on. And then Jake already mentioned it, play action, making sure his drops are well-timed and the fakes are sold well enough to fool the defense. We saw even last season a handful of times with Aaron Rodgers where he fooled the cameraman. I'm not expecting Jordan Love to fool the cameraman, but just enough to get that defense to take one extra step too far to then have somebody like Christian Watson come open.
Mm-hmm.
So having the right footwork in those types of situations is something that we will keep an eye on during the season. Steve said taking what the defense gives is what made Brady amazing. Adam said Jaden Reed's film reminds me lots of Antonio Brown's. And Sam said we're going to be good. We're all excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be our second show or our second season doing the show on Friday nights with Simon and Bryant with us. And while Simon is doing some stuff with the military, he won't be on every week, but he's still going to be a part of the show. We are very, very excited that in our second season with the 4 of us, that we are going into a huge era change.
Yeah.
And we're excited for it because it's going to give us an opportunity to potentially flex a little bit of knowledge and, potentially give some insight into the Green Bay Packers a little more than just, we have Aaron Rodgers. We're expecting to be Super Bowl contenders because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take some people trying to be a little more optimistic because there's going to be bumps in the road. I almost like towards the end of last year where everyone was like, oh, we're done. Us 4 were sitting there saying every Friday, we're not done until we're done. And look at, we had the last week, all the way up to last week, we had a chance to make the playoffs. Yep. Yeah, we didn't get it done, but hey, it happens, right? So this year, I think There's going to be some bumps in the road. Don't get me wrong. I do think we can compete in this division, and I expect us to because I think we have a very good team. But people need to realize I think we're the youngest team in the NFL now. We went from one of the more aged teams in the NFL to the youngest team in the NFL, and that should have people excited. So, because if they show anything this year, if they show that if Jordan Love shows that he can be it with his contract and everything, and his age, you're opening that window wide open again.
He's younger than Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Adam said, I thought Love had
Jones
really good footwork
Jr.
last season in limited work. You could tell he progressed, and that's what you need to see. And we said that last year, too, even during the preseason, that we can tell that Love is better than when he was drafted.
Yeah.
Greg said, new venture, the unknown is always exciting. The Packers are a great franchise.
Absolutely.
Even if things don't go well, you have key pieces in place. And that's the thing. It's all in place that it's opportunity that these guys can all grow together. Like the Packers offense, the skill players, they're all in their early to mid 20s.
And don't forget, it's very high likelihood that we're going to have 2 first-round draft picks again next year.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
the world does not want Jordan Love to work out because if he does, dude, and we have 2 first-round picks, like I don't want us to lose a bunch of games, but if we win 5 games, 6 games, right? We're obviously going to have a good pick. Then if the Jets, have a decent season, they barely sneak into the playoffs, they'll probably get their ass whooped by like a Chiefs or something like that because the Chiefs are just the best team in the league. If that happens and we get 2 first-round picks, it's a fucking wrap, dude.
Could you imagine the Packers having, say, number 10 and number 22 next year?
It'd be nice.
I'll bet you money we draft a wide receiver then.
And a safety.
I don't know that we're going to need one. I feel good with where we're at. We'll see.
I think we'll need tackles too. So on top of that as well, the Packers are also projected to have 3 comp picks too.
Nice.
God damn.
Alrighty. So Simon's got the next aspect, accuracy.
Yeah, so I think that was, if you go back and look at Love's scouting report coming out of college, I think one of the biggest knocks on him was his spotty ball placement and his deep ball accuracy. They were both kind of poor, and I think they both sort of reared their ugly head in the start against Kansas City. And I think we've kind of, beat a dead horse by now, but he wasn't dropped in the best situation for him at the time. So Love was charted as accurate on fewer than 40% of his passes that game, which is not great. So even though he had solid action, I think he showed much improvement last year. And I know the sample size was really small in his limited action, but coming out of that Eagles game, he looked sharp. Like that turkey hole shot to Jones was
my favorite throw.
Dime. That was his best throw of the game, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
It was unfortunate that it wasn't a completion because Jones dropped it, and I don't know if he wasn't expecting it or whatever, but that was an absolute dime.
He hit him right between the threes.
Yeah. So I'm looking for him to consistently be able to place footballs where only the receivers can catch them, or rather give the receivers an opportunity to catch and run, like where they don't have to come back to the ball, or like the play to Watson where he had a 60 whatever yard. Yeah, he hit him in stride, and he was just fucking gone. Like I'm looking for that this year. And I'm really excited because and I've said this before. Like it's funny how effortless Watson looks when he's running like 22 miles an hour.
He's literally gliding.
Weren't you the one that said it last year that he makes fast people look slow?
Yeah. It was just it's funny. So I'm really looking forward to him consistently placing those balls where they need to be.
So I have some thoughts on accuracy.
Pause.
Are you done?
Yeah, I just said
okay.
Pause.
I think that something that goes with accuracy is timing. So I think footwork plus timing equals accuracy. So that's why, to me, the best throw of the game was the throw that he threw to Watson. He had perfect pocket presence. He threw it perfectly on time. And that ball, if Watson was standing right there, that would have been right in the middle of the 9 too. Because that was a dart. And he hit him in stride. He did not have to break stride. He went right up the sideline. Now, if you ask the haters, that was against prevent defense. If that was truly against prevent defense, they'd had 4 people back there and he wasn't scoring. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Shit.
No, they didn't prevent him from getting in the end zone either if it was prevent defense. So I just think that footwork timing equals accuracy. So I'm also looking for the timing of things.
I like it. So Brian's got the next aspect, the combination with Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one.
So hopefully, you feel free to throw in whatever you want. So obviously already we've heard that he's got a really good connection with Romeo Dobbs, but as Simon just alluded to, he hit Watson in stride last year, touchdown, boom. Like I believe Romeo had a couple catches that game too, or unless he was injured, but I know he's completed a couple passes to Romeo early on in the one game, the Minnesota game, he stepped in and stuff like that. So he might have completed the first pass to Christian Watson in his career too. I can't remember if he had stepped in at that point, but either way, like their connection has been strong. And I want to kind of add on to this because we didn't talk about this, but we've all been watching. I love the fact that someone like Aaron Jones is meeting with Jordan Love. They're building a huge connection right now, catching a lot of footballs. I guarantee that it's eating Jones up that he dropped that turkey hole shot that we're talking about in Philly. Because if you go watch him today, Jordan Love is throwing deep balls to Aaron Jones down the sideline. So we might finally see these wheel routes. For 87-9, I want to make sure I'm looking for a couple things. I don't want him to fixate on him because I think there's too much talent now on this team. So make sure he doesn't fixate on them because we've seen that happen in the past where, it doesn't work. I want to see him give them chances. Christian Watson needs to have a chance like that touchdown against the Titans that you guys, I think we're sitting right there, right?
Yep.
Throw them a ball like Simon and I talked about contested catches. If he's going to throw a contested ball, at least put it in a place where it's like your wide receiver has a 60% chance versus a 40 of the defender or something like that. I know they can't exactly calculate that, but on contested balls, I'll be looking for him to give them a chance. Also, I really look forward to the fact that our wide receivers are going to be able to run routes in the middle of the field. He's going to be able to target Jaden Reed and Samori Toure in the middle of the field. Tight ends. You're gonna have plays where Luke Musgrave is going to be screaming up the seam, and then you're going to have a safety trying to decide: am I taking Luke Musgrave on the the corner route, or am I taking Watson on the seam route, or the fly route? Like this offense has a chance to really cause some problems. So I really look forward to seeing, make sure he spreads the ball around a lot. I think Dubs might become a safety blanket on like third downs, almost like Lazard was for Aaron the last few years. But Christian Watson, I think he needs a lot of those short seam routes. We just need to get the ball in his hand and let him make plays. And I'm really excited the fact that I think that's going to happen. I think LaFleur's probably been licking his lips this whole freaking offseason, just drawing up plays for these guys because he knows that we're probably not going to check out of the plays as much, and we're going to get to run these plays, and that can hurt you at times, but it can also help you. The fact that we're just going to run the offense. So for the connection to 9 and 87, first I want us to understand that they're young still, so there's going to be mistakes made. They're not going to have perfectly in sync all the time, but now they're going to have a chance to grow together. They're all young. They're all going to be growing together, and you can include Jaden Reed and everything in that too. So, yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Romeo Dobbs being a potential safety blanket for third downs, because when we were doing our draft prep going into last season, Romeo Dobbs, the thing that stood out to me from him at Nevada was Carson Strong was looking for him every single third down. And every time he threw to him on third down, Romeo Dobbs was catching that ball every single time. That stood out to me enough to put in my notes that Romeo Dobbs was a trustworthy third down option. So just I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that touchdown against New England he had. I know Jordan didn't throw that ball or anything, but let them try for those connected, those contested catches. You know what I mean? So I really look forward, and just the fact that we're going to actually throw the ball in the middle of the field has me very excited.
So Jake's got the next set of decision making, and it's run pass decision making.
Yeah, so this boils down to two different things, in my opinion. Obviously, the RPO has become very, very popular over the last few years, right? So I looked up 2016 through 2021 numbers. The RPO was ran 4.7% of the time in 2016. In 2011, it was ran 19.3% of the time. 2021. And then on first down, it was run 6.9% of the time in 2016 and 17.8% of the time. That's out of shotgun. So that's just nuts. So you're going to have to on top of reading the defense when you come up to the line, you're going to have to understand when to hand the ball off, right? When is the right decision to just give the ball and get your 3-4 yards, right? Then the next thing with the run pass is understanding when to check out of it. And I know that a couple of you guys have brought it up already. Understanding when it's okay to take a shot and when it's not okay to take a shot. So really it just comes down to, understanding the defense, understanding down and distance, and knowing when it's okay to pull that thing and let it sling, right? And I do think, this is probably not a hot take either, but I do think that he has a little bit more gunslinger in him than Aaron Rodgers. He's a little bit of a combo of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. He's got the athleticism of a Rodgers. Not that Favre wasn't athletic. I just think Rodgers was more athletic. And
Early on, for sure.
He's got the fuck it and chuck it kind of thing that Brett Favre had. I didn't know how else to word that, but that's what I say when I see it.
That's what's going to be. There's going to be times where he's going to be like, fuck it, Christian's down there somewhere.
Right. You got a one-on-one with a 6'5" guy that runs a 4.3. I mean, is that really a bad decision? Is it? I don't think it is.
Sometimes it is, but
if you give your guy a good enough ball where he can make a play on it, it's a 50-50 ball. To be honest with you, as a coach, I'm not going to be upset at my coach or my quarterback for doing that, right? A 6'5" guy, he can jump, he can run, he can do everything. I mean, we talked about it during the Cowboys game when, we're watching the guys run after Christian Watson. Those guys are fucking just hauling ass. They're just trying to catch him, dude. There's no way they were keeping up with him. He's too fast.
Can I add something to that, just on that thing specifically, the deep balls, the 50-50 balls?
Yeah.
This is a thing where we are not only watching to see how Jordan Love develops, but we also need to see how Christian Watson develops.
Yeah.
This is essentially going to be his first year as the guy. Like, we know coming in that Christian Watson is our wide receiver one. Yeah. We also need to see his development too. So we need to see some 50-50 balls thrown by Jordan Love so we can continue to evaluate Christian Watson as well, not only Jordan Love.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a big thing. I love that Brian brought it up because I was going to bring it up that we're going to need to watch these young guys and they're going to make mistakes too. So I love that you brought that up. Throwing over the middle is definitely going to be exciting. I want Tucker Kraft to catch so many footballs over the middle and just run into people because he's not going to avoid them. It's going to be awesome.
All righty, so I have the next one. This is my last one, is throwaway decisions. So when to throw the ball away, this is something that we know that Aaron Rodgers had in his game. He did it a lot. Maybe too much at some times. At some points, you kind of wanted Rodgers like, hey, just take a shot once in a while. Obviously, there's aspects of protecting the ball, but in my mind, with throwaway decisions, down and distance is going to play a major factor. Throwing in the double coverage on 2nd and 1 versus 4th and 10, that's two very, very different situations. Obviously, on 4th and 10, throwing the ball out of bounds, that doesn't benefit you at all. Obviously, that just gives the ball to the other team, so that's where you might need to throw a 50-50 ball to a Christian Watson, a jump ball, something like that. But essentially, the other thing is with the 2-minute drill is just making the smart choices to conserve time. So as opposed to, trying to reverse your field and run back all the way across the field, across the hash marks to the other side of the field, just throw the ball away, reset, and give yourself the opportunity to call another play, just to catch some rest too. The scramble drill is something that we've seen work, but it doesn't need to be a 15-second play when there's 25 seconds left in a game, just running scramble drill. So, throwing away decisions in the 2-minute drill. And then also a factor in the throwaway decisions is controlling turnovers if the Packers find themselves leading in games. So obviously there's going to be times where if you're trying to win games, you got to try to make plays and you got to throw some questionable passes to try to make plays. If the Packers are up by, say, 10 points and there's 5 minutes left in the game, that's not one of those times. At that point, you throw the ball away and you either punt the ball or you run the ball to start using more clock, whatever it may be, on the next play. But turning the ball over in those situations is the last thing you want to do. So that's another area where I'm going to be looking for those throwaway decisions.
I agree.
Okay.
No, I agree.
So next is Simon to talk about turnovers.
Yeah. So another big knock against Love coming out of college, especially the last year he played, was the amount of turnovers and turnover-worthy plays he had. Once again, against Kansas City, he was credited with 3 turnover-worthy plays, which could have all been interceptions. I will say, though, Love does a pretty good job of keeping the ball tucked and secure while he's scanning for wide receivers. But decision making, or he needs to play with better decision making and better anticipation. So I'm looking forward to him, or looking for him to try and throw the ball away instead of trying to force it into a wide receiver that may or may not be open. And I also think Packer fans should temper their expectations a little bit this year. I was kind of going a little bit off maybe what we want to talk about, but Rodgers was like the king of not turning the ball over. Love is definitely going to have his bumps and bruises, especially in his first year starting as a full-time starter. I wouldn't expect him to throw, 25 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I think that'd be otherworldly. But I'm looking for better decision-making and maybe not trying to always throw into double coverage, Brett Favre-esque
I think
triple coverage.
I think a 2-to-1 ratio would be very good first year for him.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd take that.
I would take that.
So what I want to say with turnovers is I also am going to be very interested in how he responds to turnovers. If he's, if I don't want him to have a timidity to him after turnovers, like I don't want him to play hesitant just because he made a turnover. I would really much rather see, a cognitive adjustment than, to like put his head down, something like that. So the response to the turnovers is going to be a big thing for me. Steve said, I once read a comment that Love would have an easier time as a pro than at Utah State because his weapons were so poor and every throwing window was tiny. That's possible. I think honestly stand and watch enough Utah State games to say whether I believe that or not, but it's possible.
I feel like there is obviously there is some I can't think of words right now. Part of the reason why, validity to him having that regression of his last season. I mean, they lost 9 guys on offense, a bunch of coaching staff. I mean, turnover on the coaching staff matters at how their QB plays as well.
I think he has 10 new starters. Actually, I think he was the only.
He was like the only guy coming back. So I mean, take that for what it is. I mean, he still had his faults, of course, but
right. Yeah, and that's the thing is like just bringing the fact that Steve brought that up. He's not saying that that's the only reason that Love had 18 turnovers his final year of college.
Of course not.
That's not what we say when we're talking about these things either. We're not going to bring up one aspect of it and expect it to explain away, any other potential bad decisions or whatever it may be, like missed opportunities, whatever it may be. It's not anything that we bring up. It's not, it's not just an excuse or whatever you want to say. It's not a blanket statement to cover everything that he didn't do well or has opportunity to improve on. So that's not what it's ever going to be. All of these things, and this is why we're doing this all individually, is because all of these things are their own individual aspects. That's why we're doing its own show to talk about this. So the next thing is Bryant to talk about his progressions.
Yeah, so for progressions, this is a key to success really in my mind for him, is because going into progressions talks about how calm he stays in the pocket when there's pressure around him. If he gets happy feet, if you see quarterbacks get happy feet, they start to really struggle. You've seen Aaron get happy feet in the past when he didn't feel like his line was going to hold up, and that's when he started chucking a bunch of balls into the ground, short of wide receivers are overthrowing them and all that type of things, right? So for his progressions, I'm really just looking for him to stay calm, know when to flush when there's pressure, but don't do it immediately. Like stay in the pocket and, be prepared. And you really can see, like if you put on the Kansas City tape versus the Philly tape, it's crazy different. Like he was flustered the entire time against Kansas City, but in Philly, there's plays you can legitimately see him go through his progressions. There's one play he looks on the sidelines, you see that he's being trapped by a cornerback. Another one where it was a deep route, but it was double coverage, and then the person in the middle of the field is covered, and then he dropped it off to Dylan. It might have been his first completion of the game for like an 8-yard drop off to Dylan in the flat, and you can see him go through his progressions. So he showed that he can do it. Now let's see if he can continue to improve on that and continue to do that. because if he can't go through progressions and he's just firing at the first look every time, he won't be successful. But if he can keep his calm in the pocket and go through his progressions, Matt LaFleur is going to scheme people open. There's going to be outlets for him. He needs to know where his outlets are, his safe passes. Like every play, he should, by reading the defense, he should have an idea where he can get rid of the ball, dump it off. But just, he should quickly go through his progressions, give it within like 2 seconds or whatever, and he should be able to identify where he's throwing that ball, right? So
Or
he's
when he
already
has the
shown
opportunity to run, I would throw that in there as well.
exactly. And if you go back to the versus Kansas City tape versus Philly tape, there was a couple like in Philly where he ran he was kind of running more lateral to see if he can get rid of the ball and throw the ball. I think against Lazard, like if he would have held on for one more like half a second, he would have had him wide open. But you could just see improvement already, and I really, the progressions will be a big thing. He needs to go through his progressions and make sure he's finding the open wide receiver and not just firing it, hit that 3-step drop and fire that ball if that first progression is open. If not, quickly go to your second, third, and check down.
So Adam said, I have the pleasure of having season tickets. My dad and I always watch Aaron and Love throw the quarter end zone into a basket. For what it's worth, I've seen Love make more in the basket than number 12. I mean, hey, if it translates to the field, I'll be happy.
Everyone gets so hyped for those too, and I love it.
It's like a trick shot video.
Yeah, I love it. But
we're all sick. We're gonna be finding ways to stream. We'll all be finding a stream that for family night too. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah,
I might go actually. I might be bringing.
Yeah, you should. Are they sold out? I know they started selling tickets.
I don't know if it's sold out. I was gonna look this next Friday.
Alrighty, so Jake's got the last aspect of Jordan Love's development that we're gonna watch for, and it is eyes.
The eyes. There's so many aspects to the eyes, and I believe eyes ties a lot into what Brian was just talking about in progression, right? So your eyes, you have to use them obviously to go through your progressions. But here's something that people probably don't think about with eyes here is when you come up to the line, and we've seen it for so many years, 31 years, right? We had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They come up to the line, they know the matchup that they like the most at the line, right? So finding that matchup that you like the most, which one you're going to exploit. We've seen it with Jordy's. We've seen it with Devontae Adams, right? Like Rodgers knew where he wanted to go. Favre knew, when he had Sterling Sharp and Donald Drivers of the world, So finding the guy that you like the matchup the best on, maybe halfway through the year, Luke Musgrave is just absolutely torturing safeties. And you have a play that Luke Musgrave is going to torture another safety. And you go up to the line and you're just kind of smiling, and you're just like, this play is going to be a big gainer, right? So that's something that you have to look into, understanding coverages, right? So we talked how many times about the Chiefs game, right? They were just coming at them. They were basically just playing man blitz and just make a play, kid, right? So when you have that goes into the matchups. You have to find the guy that has the best matchup, and you have to exploit that. And then you have to be able to manipulate the defense, right? They talk all the time about how quarterbacks look off safeties to get one-on-one opportunities. And this is where I really, really wanted to talk about the deep ball with Christian Watson, because that is going to be a key. The offense started looking good last year after Watson started being healthy and he was able to stretch the defense. There's something to be said for that. So if we can run some play action and we can get some deep shots, he can manipulate a safety, move him over. He's hitting Luke Musgrave or Jaden Reed or whoever, right, over the middle, 10, 15 yards in the middle all day. And then all of a sudden, you just give me one over the top to Christian Watson. I mean, Rodgers had Watson wide open in a game against Detroit last year, and he missed him.
Yep.
So those deep shots are clearly there. LaFleur still has the correct scheme. And if Love runs it the way that it's supposed to, everybody goes to the Philly game. And by the way, think about the 2 times that he came into a game, right? He started against the Chiefs, obviously. Tough place to play. Philadelphia, tough place to play. I think it'll be a little relaxing for him to play at Lambeau in front of his own fans for a change, don't you?
Yeah, true.
Against the Bears.
Jesus. If you had to pick 2 stadiums to not play in to start your career, I think Kansas City and Philly would be pretty high on the list.
City, Philly,
probably both in the top
Seattle,
5.
Probably
Seattle would be up there.
Seattle would be up there too.
I always put Philly because I just think that those guys are just ruthless, man. Philly, those people are they're
rowdy.
They're crazy, man.
Can't even go to a game up there though. It's not. They take
Have
it too far. No, I said you can't. If you
Oh.
if you go there, you should not wear any of your you should not go there wearing Packers gear.
I'm gonna say if you're an Eagles fan, suck my D. That's the jersey I'm gonna wear. We'll see if I make it back home.
Oh, it was nice knowing you, Jake.
That's no way.
For sure, do not go into the bathrooms. That's all I'll say.
I'll hold it.
All right.
I
So
wanted them to hold it.
does anybody else have anything else they want to say on Jordan Love's development? I mean, all of these things, these 12 things that we brought up, in addition to everything that Mike Spofford and Andy Herman and John from Lombardi Time Brews had to contribute, which we appreciate them taking the time to do. Is there anything else you guys want to say, throw out there? I mean, we're going to talk about these more during the season as they come up and as appropriate. But is there anything else you guys want to throw out there before we switch to the fun part?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Simon.
Oh, so I just got one last thing that, and maybe this might not be the year to look at it, depending on your expectations. But I think pocket manipulation. I mean, Roger was so good at it, and I would love to see. I would I would love to see Jordan be able to step up in the pocket in the right time, or take off between the tackle and the guard at the right time. Because Love, the good thing about Love too is, like, as Rodgers obviously got older, his athleticism kind of waned a little bit. So it's going to be nice to have like a younger, sprier quarterback. And I know Love doesn't exactly have the top speed, but he does have that athleticism to him. So getting out of the pocket, and if the edge rusher pushes too far up and he finds a seam in between the guard and the tackle, and him get out of the pocket that way, or step up in the pocket and still have that clean pocket. So I'm going to be looking a little bit for that. Maybe not necessarily for our show, but I think it's a good thing to watch for him, to be able to watch his offensive line block for him and make the right decision with his feet.
I mean, Josh Allen is a similar size guy that's not overly speedy, but he does have the athleticism. So, I mean, there's a similar body type out there who does it well.
Josh Allen also just runs motherfuckers over too. So. I don't want Jordan.
I love me some Josh Allen.
I do.
So I just wanted to reiterate, like, for everyone, because you know how fans are, they're gonna lose their mind when the mistakes are made. I just want to. There's gonna be mistakes, but if the big thing is, how often do those mistakes continue to repeat themselves? Look for repetition on the mistakes. If you start to see them less and less and less and less, that's what we're looking for this season. You know what I mean? Like, are they learning? They're gonna all have to learn together, right? Yep. So it's not. None of us. We're not counting them out, but none of us have Super Bowl expectations this year. We all have expectations that we're just going to look for improvement, and these rookies and the second year and third year players are all going to take a step, or at least show, the cream is going to rise to the top, and then we're going to know even more of the core of our team, and we're just going to continue to develop from that. So just be patient with it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a lot for me to say, because you guys know how I turned into a different human being during the game. But the thing is, go ahead and be that person during the game, but give yourself a half an hour just to come down from whatever happened in that game. And then before you go on social media, like,
take some time to do some critical thinking after the game, I think is what Brian's trying to say.
Exactly.
And that's what we would ask for is some critical thinking, and not letting the knee-jerk reactions or the emotional reactions take over.
I like rewatching the game. I mean, maybe like a day or two later, because you already know the result, so you can start paying attention to how they got to the result.
Sure, that's fair. Alrighty, you guys ready for some nostalgia? This is what turned into with Jake and I doing this a couple weeks ago. Was like remembering some of the guys that came up during these discussions. So we are drafting our favorite Packers by jersey numbers. So we're doing this in sections. We're going to go 0 through 9, 10 through 19, 20 through 29, 30 through 39, then 40 through 59, 60 through 79, 80 through 89, and then 90 plus. So we're going to start 0 through 99. I didn't pick an order to go in.
Yep. 0 through 99.
0 through 9. 0 through 9.
So we're going to pick two players, 0 through 99.
Yes.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
This would be a quick segment.
Only 8 players in the history of the entire Packers. I didn't pick an order to go from, like who's going to go first, second, third, fourth, but
Okay,
You guys want to
so
just go in
let's just
order
snake
of
you guys
down.
can do whatever you want. I get the 60 through 79 part.
Why?
You know why?
No, I want them.
All right, you guys want to just do it that way? Just go by the camera pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
We'll
snake
just-
it back.
We'll keep rotating. Cody said, "Pardon the interruption. Burns finished the game with 13 strikeouts, 2 hits, and 0 earned runs in 6 innings." Yeah, that was
just relax.
What
We
a-
have
13
what a
strikeouts
monster
in
game.
6 innings.
Okay,
13
hold on.
strikeouts. in 6
You guys
innings.
should trade him.
Tyler.
Yeah, we should.
Do you remember that chick that said we should walk Joey Votto? He's
Yeah.
had 0 hits, 0 times on base since she said walk him.
Ooh.
Dumbass.
That's awesome. All righty.
Is that on Twitter?
It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
funny.
All right. Okay.
All right. So 0 through 9. I'm gonna go first on this one. This is actually a really stacked group, so I actually kind of
There's some.
I don't
good
want to go
ones
so
on
far as to say that I regret going first. But number 1, I'm gonna go with number 1, the man who the stadium is named after. I'm gonna go with Curly Lambeau.
Awesome pick.
How could you?
there's
How
not a
could
bad
you not?
pick, but-
Yeah, I would have also taken him first.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
Well, I gotta take my birthday buddy. The most points in Packers history, Mason Crosby.
That's good.
That's a good one. All right, Bryant, number 3.
I mean, I gotta take Brett Favre, right? Like, I get it that he's going through some stuff right now, but how much joy and pain did he give us over, those 20-something years? Just the watching him and everything, it was amazing. So, for me, a lot of my picks are people I actually watched played, unless they're very historic, like Curly Lambeau.
Right.
That's
yeah, I gotta go with
that's a
Brett
lot
Favre.
of mine too. Mine are the same.
All righty, Simon, you're up.
All right. Oh God, I got some good ones. Damn. I'll take Paul Horning. I think
Yeah.
he's a legend, and he's like one of the faces of the franchise.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's what I was going to go with if you picked somebody else. I'm tempted to go with a recent guy, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take Don Majkowski.
Damn it, that was good.
If you say his name and you don't picture the Magic Man poster, like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that alone is worth him being in my picks.
I considered taking him because I love the mullet. I love the poster.
He
Everyone
should
just
bring that
loves
back.
him.
He, like, right now,
Oh,
he
yeah.
should bring that back.
I met him down in Atlanta. He did like a Packers Everywhere thing.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Him, Dorsey Levens, and I forget who the last guy was.
that's pretty cool.
All righty, Jake, make your second pick.
These guys are taking all the guys off the board here. I'm gonna go with 2 kickers, I guess. I'll go with Ryan Longwell.
That's a good
Oh,
one.
another kicker. All right.
This might be early on. I think I'm next, right?
Yep, you're
Yes.
next.
This might be early on, but Christian Watson.
He was in contention for my pick. I won't lie.
Like just watching him play last year, and he's from North Dakota. He played at North Dakota State. So even though I hate North Dakota State University, but he's just such a fun player to watch already, and I'm very excited to see what he can do.
I don't hate it. Greg, no, I don't think anybody's picking Tony Mandarich.
The funny thing is, I put him on my list as a joke.
That's
Oh God.
Now I know why you wanted to go first for 60 through 79.
Yeah.
Trying to pick number 77.
Yep.
All righty, Simon, wrap up 0 through 9.
I'm picking Quay Walker.
Ray Walker.
I love that people are just like shitting on him this offseason for the way last season ended. And I have really high hopes for him. So I'm hoping he can take a step forward and correct his, I guess, disciplinary issues, and then also just like make better decisions on the field. So I'm really high on Quay Walker this year.
Fun fact: my dad, we had a wheel with questions at our event. My dad said that Quay Walker is the most underrated player on the team because of how the media is painting him. He said he showed the ability to cover the pass. He showed the ability to run sides on the sideline.
Yep.
He's not afraid to tackle people behind the line of scrimmage. My dad knows a thing or two. He's the one that predicted Jordan Love being
Has he
drafted.
seen
By the way,
a thing or two?
he's been around a while. He's an old dinosaur.
Greg said Quay Walker was last year's best rookie linebacker by a good margin, just needs to mature. I
Yep,
think that's totally fair.
yep.
Totally
I
fair.
100% agree with that.
Yep.
All righty. 10 through 19. Jake, you get to pick first this time.
Aaron Rodgers, easy. Next.
All right, Bryant, you're up.
fine. I'll go Bart Starr.
Yep,
Easy
that's
one.
Yep.
All right, Simon, you're up.
I'm taking Devontae. I
You
love
fucker.
You
Devontae.
son of a slut! I wanted to get the duo.
I
All
love
right.
Devontae.
This is gonna be cool because I'm glad this is gonna work out this way. But I got the guy they named the stadium after. Now I'm going the guy they named the practice field after.
God damn it.
So give me Don Hudson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm happy that the board fell this way because I wanted to say it's Randall Cobb again.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Randall Cobb again.
I got Cobb and Rogers. I'm chilling, dude.
All right. Well, how about this? I'll go with 2 quarterbacks. How about give me a little bit of Matt Flynn?
Matt Flynn.
my
Is that where I thought you were going when you said quarterback?
I was going to say Lynn Dickey, dude.
That's what I thought. He was gonna
Lynn
say.
Dickey would have been a good one too. All right. I'll take Lazard. I love Alan Lazard. I think undrafted. He came in clutch a couple times last year.
I mean, the play against the Dolphins last year just
Yeah.
justifies its
Dude, that was so awesome. The
Now he's
fact
in their
that he got a
division, dude.
taunting fine for that after the game and then got it
Yeah.
rescinded is hilarious.
pick, right?
It's a good pick.
This
Fuck
one's-
it. I'll take Lynn Dickey. I'm not that way.
Hey, he could have been in here twice. He was number 10 and number 12. So
I do actually have that written next to his name. I do have him written as 10 and 12.
Yeah. So there are a couple players I was considering for other numbers, and then I just wrote down the one that they played in longest.
yeah.
Yeah. Curly Lambeau also wore number
Yeah.
14, but I wasn't going to
Yeah.
pick him twice.
Yeah.
Although I did pick Johnny Davis twice when Jake and I did our Badgers draft.
You
Oh,
did.
nice.
You did. And it's okay because Johnny Davis was awesome.
It was an
Yeah.
awesome moment to remember that. So
It was.
that's what this is about. It's about reliving the nostalgia. Cody said the 80s will be super hard. I mean, it'll be super fun.
7
No, the
million.
80s are gonna be. The 80s are stacked.
The 80s, yeah, the 80s is
The
going to
80s
be.
are stacked.
Loaded, dude.
Alrighty, so 20 through 29. Brian
Also
gets to go first
loaded.
this time.
Okay. I could go the easy one, and I think the person I actually want to draft will be there, but I don't want to risk it because I just, for whatever reason, I love this player, but I'm going to go Atari Big B.
Oh,
What?
he's on my
I
list.
love that.
You
What
son
in the name of
Go
random?
back around and get him.
I
have
love
him on
Atari
my list,
Big
too.
B, dude.
One overall.
I love
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
What a pull.
What
All
just
right,
happened?
Simon.
I'm,
you
I'm
get
going
to-
Woodson. You can't not go.
Yeah.
I love Charles Woodson.
He's
Yep,
the
that's the easy
The
one.
man.
goat.
I'm gonna go Jair Alexander, my
Yeah.
first pick
Good
in
one.
the 20s.
I wanted one of them. I wanted one of those two people.
Jake, there are so many good guys in.
I know.
A lot of good ones. Yep.
I'm gonna go. You know what? Since Brian went random, I'm gonna go random and kind of new guy too. I'm gonna go Keyshawn Nixon.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this is another player that's kind of random, played for us a couple of years, but I really enjoy, and he had some big gains for us. Running back, can anyone guess it?
Is it
Eddie
Dorsey
Lacy.
Levens?
Ryan Grant.
Right.
Ooh,
I have
on
him
my
written
list,
down too.
Yeah, I love
I
to.
have him.
I always see him. It was him in the snow game against Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Just running down a whole bunch. So yeah, I just loved him
love
as a
that.
player.
That's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
All
Steady.
right.
All right.
I
Simon,
got
who's your
I
second
got a
pick?
good one. It's completely random and it's only name based. Does anyone know?
Completely random, only name based. Those are our only hints.
Yes.
Those are the worst hints of all.
I have- okay.
I got another one. He wore the number 22.
Ugh.
I have a couple guys that I have written with number 22 next to their names.
I don't have a single 22 written down.
Aaron
don't know.
Ripkowski.
Aaron
hate you.
Ripkowski.
I just love him
I-
for his name. It's so
Yeah.
stupid, but
I love him for fumbling in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mute
Damn,
button.
Simon.
That's mute button. Tony Reale.
I love
I'm
him for his
so
name.
mad
That's-
right now.
That's it. That's it.
You could have had him in the 33rd round of this
It
draft.
doesn't matter. Worth it. Worth it.
All right, you left me a super easy one. I'm gonna take Dorsey Levens.
Yeah, I had him written down too. I love him.
All right. I know that he got disrespected at the end of his tenure, but he was a damn good player and the last rookie of the year for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going Eddie Lacy.
There you go.
I wanted to draft Will Blackman because he was actually a dope punt returner.
I
What-
also
who else
had
do you
I had
guys have
Willie
written down?
Wood on this list as
Ah,
well.
that's a
He was
good
an
one,
8-time
yeah.
Pro Bowler from the Packers.
I had Casey Hayward written down as well.
I like it.
That's a good one. You should have taken that over Rakowski. You
Ah, fuck it. I just love the name, man. Ripkowski.
He just went full send. He just said, "Fuck it."
Save.
Yeah, I don't even give a shit.
Clearly,
Few beers deep. I'm in.
Clearly. All righty. So now Simon gets to go first for 30 through 39. This will be interesting. This is a really good one.
Oh God, this is a good one too.
Very
Yeah.
underrated.
I'm gonna go Amon Green.
Amon Green. He's number one on my list also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that gives me the second pick. I'm gonna go with Al Harris.
Damn. I was hoping
a
he'd
good
make
one.
it next back to me.
That's
Yeah.
I love Al
I
Harris.
didn't about it. No,
Yeah.
that's a good pick.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the ball and we're gonna score.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can think of.
That
Yeah.
was amazing. Shut up, Simon. Shut up, Cody. I'm gonna delete your comments and nobody else sees it.
What do you say?
Nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that I'm looking at that I don't know who I want, but I guess I'll just go with Cody's pick. I'll take Leroy Butler,
Ah.
a guy that I had breakfast with. That was awesome. He's a really great guy, by
Great pick, asshole.
the
All righty,
Give me a
Brian.
Yeah.
Your
Give me a little
first
bit. Give me a little bit of Tremont Williams then.
Ooh,
Jake
Tremont
stole
Williams
my
is a
guy,
good
but I'll
one.
take some
way.
Tremont.
Wow,
Williams.
he's not even on my list. That's a good pick.
He's in my margins.
Hmm.
All right, Simon, back to you.
There's still some good ones left.
There's a lot of good ones left.
Dude, there's one
30s were good. I'm gonna take Nick Collins. I think the
God
what
damn it.
if
Cody in the
game-
comments just sniping all the picks.
No,
All
I
right.
swear I
I'm
didn't
gonna-
look.
I,
I-
block you
he
from the
said
page.
it. He said it like he typed it in like the same time that you said it. So he
I
right
know.
on it.
I'm gonna
Nice.
block you from the page just for this segment.
Man, that's tough because now I got a couple guys that I'd be really happy with.
No, you're good, Cody. I'm just giving you shit, dude.
I'm gonna go. Okay, so this was when this question was asked on Saturday. Who is the Packers' most underrated player? I hold firm that it is this guy, and it's Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones
Yeah.
is the most underrated player on the Green Bay Packers.
All right,
Cody, just
This
put
is
yourself on like a
crazy.
10-second delay.
It's crazy because he's easily, I guess, like a top 5 player on the Packers.
Oh, easily.
I mean, he doesn't get the NFL recognition, but fans give him the recognition.
Yeah, I agree. So this one is all based off of Simon taking a fullback. I'm going to take William Henderson,
Yes.
so I
I
can
have
pull out
Henry
Ahman
now.
Green.
I like it.
All right. Well, I'll go running back to you, and it's just because I love his attitude, and I wish he was still on our team. But I'll go Jamal Williams.
That's a good one.
Jim Taylor was also in consideration for me.
Sam Shields.
Sam Shields
Edgar
was a good
Bennett.
one.
Yeah, Edgar Bennett.
And I just want to throw this name out because it's going to give people some nostalgia.
Sam Congato.
Sam Congato.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that guy.
Love
What a
it.
time to be alive. Sam Congato, dude.
That was
Holy
amazing. I'm glad Brian was picking up what I'm putting down. I love it. Okay, so when we originally planned this, we were going to do 40 through 49 and then 50 through 79, but we changed it up a little bit, and we're doing 40 through 59, which completely changes my strategy on this.
Yeah.
But I am glad that I get the first pick here because number one for 40 through 59, I'm going to go with Clay Matthews.
Very good pick.
Good one.
Very good pick. It's my pick. Oh God, this does change everything. Now I got shit. I'm falling around.
Jesus.
I'm falling apart here.
Thanks so much for Jake. He's just like, fuck my laptop.
You drinking over there too, or what?
Hold on. I'm thinking here. All right. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
take.
nobody picked John Kuhn, Cody.
I'm gonna
That was a good one too.
I'm gonna
But
take
I-
Nick Barnett.
Damn it.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick.
Does that mean
Alrighty,
next?
Brian.
Okay, so there's a lot that I like here.
Yeah.
You said Nick Barnett. I'll take Morgan Burnett.
It's a very underrated one.
I have him as well.
All right, Simon, who's your first one?
I'm gonna take Julius Peppers. I
Ooh,
know he didn't
Yeah.
have like a huge stint with us, but
Nope.
he's
Okay.
such a great player.
Remember, he had 2 pick sixes in the same
Yeah.
season, dude.
Yeah.
This is sick.
Yeah.
At the age of like 37.
And
Oh, he wasn't
6'7",
that old,
300
but-
pounds.
Okay. So I have to complete the trifecta of the fields. So I have Lambeau, I have Hudson. Now I got to get Ray Nitschke. I got to
Yeah.
complete the trio, the triangle of the fields. So give me Ray Nitschke.
I thought Ray Nitschke wore
He
66.
wore 66.
Oh, I have him. Damn it. I thought
So
for some reason
Tyler
I had
wants Ray
56
Nitschke.
written- I thought I had 56. Dude, look at how tiny my freaking margins are. Like,
Get it,
Oh,
get
yeah,
in
there
the
was this
notebook.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jake knows I write tiny. All right, let
I
me
know.
pivot. Let me pivot.
Pivot,
Let me go.
pivot.
Yeah. Give me- Oh man, I have so I have a recent guy, and I have a fun name to say.
I
I
don't
think
wanna
I'm
say
going-
it.
I'm gonna
I
go
don't
with
want
the
to say it
name,
because
but
I
I
think I
picked.
know what it is, but I also want to choose him.
All right, fine. I'll take the most recent. I'll take the recent guy. I'll leave the fun name guy out. I'll take Rashawn Gary.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm trading my 240 through 50s for a 60s. I have my writing so tiny that my 5s and 6s start to blend together.
Okay,
Right, better.
so I'm gonna try to be nice to Simon. Hopefully, he says the guy, and I don't regret this. But I'll take James Starks right now.
Oh, you. God, that was my next pick.
Oh, sorry, man. Oh my God, I was trying to be nice to Simon.
I had him, no, I had him written down too, but that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
I
got
just
him
love the
written down as
Super Bowl
well.
run with him, like 400 something yards that playoff run.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
going nuts.
Okay, so this is a guy that I like more so for what he has done after football, and that'll be Larry McCarron.
Larry McCarron.
Because
good one.
I love his rock
Yeah.
report and everything like that. So yeah, I'll go with Larry McCarron.
Solid.
So I don't know if this is who you guys are thinking of now that you're getting fucking excited. I'll take Niall Diggs.
Oh,
That
okay.
wasn't it, but that's a freaking good one, dude.
I
Good
like
one.
I
I
liked
have him written down.
I liked him a lot.
The fun name that I had to say was Brady Papinga.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
also
one.
good.
That's a good one too.
I was going.
I
Najee
had
Harris.
AJ Hawk written down as well.
I have
Even
AJ
though he
Hawk
was
written
like-
down.
Yeah,
He didn't live up to his 5 overall. I think he had
He
a
was still a
solid
very
career.
solid
and
player
he's
for
a
us.
cool dude too.
and I like what he's doing afterwards, kind
Yeah.
of like Larry
I agree
McCarron.
with that as well.
So nobody had Mike
I also-
Flanagan.
No.
No, I didn't.
No.
Cody, Clay Matthews was my first pick. I had the first pick in this set, so I took Clay Matthews first. I also wrote down Frank Winters, number 52. Okay.
All right,
60
go ahead
through
and choose it.
79.
Go ahead.
Jake gets the pick first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I won't take him. I'll be nice. I'll
Come
see. If
on, man.
Brian, I'll see. I'll see if
Oh,
Brian.
I'm 100% taking him if
Yeah.
you don't.
Okay, fine. I'm taking David Bakhtiari.
Big 69. How can you not?
Right?
Yeah.
I actually like this group a lot too.
Yeah. So, I was gonna be mean right here, but I'm not going to. Just it'd be funny. Well, go ahead and give me Aaron Catman.
Ah, you suck. I was
Yeah,
hoping
he
he's
was
going
on
to
my
the
list
radar.
too. That's a good one. I'll take Jerry Kramer.
That's a very good one.
Uh,
Okay, now
too well.
I'm
I
going
was
to
gonna
take.
take him. Just
now
to
I'm
mess
gonna
with you,
take
Tyler,
Ray
but
Nitschke.
I didn't.
Now I'm going to take Ray Nitschke and complete my field triangle.
There you go. All right.
Cody's got 2 for the next round. All right.
I have 2 guys, and I love both of them. I don't know who to take. I'm gonna go Mike Daniels.
I love
I
Mike
respect it.
Daniels.
I love Big Mike, dude. I have him on
Yeah,
Xbox as a friend, dude.
That's awesome.
I'll,
And also very
I'll go ahead and take Brian Balaga, Iowa.
Ow. I like
You
that
hear
like
him say that?
2-minute video of him doing that.
Yeah.
Iowa.
You just hear him hear him say that so many times. You're just convinced that Bulaga is his middle name at this point.
Too good. Too good.
All righty, Simon, back to you.
Ooh, there's some good ones left. I'll take Colin Jenkins.
Oh, that was my other guy.
Okay.
Good pick. That was my other guy.
Oh, all right. I got 2 guys. One's a little more recent than the other one, but I'm going to take number 76. I'll take Chad Clifton.
Ooh, good one.
Freaking Chad Clifton.
Hell yeah.
I also wanted to take Ryan Pickett just because of that Super Bowl.
I,
play.
I have Ryan Pickett on my list too. That was the other one I was debating on.
Yeah. Oh, now this is the best group.
This
And
is-
Brian
yeah.
gets to go first. What the hell is
Yeah.
happening around here?
I mean, there's a lot of players I love. I really, obviously, it's wide receivers, right? You love all the wide receivers that are making big plays. There's a huge amount of players here, but one of my favorite most consistent players was always Donald Driver. So I'll go ahead and take Donald Driver. I just loved him.
That would
So
have been my
There's
first.
literally no wrong answers in this.
I cannot be more happy that he won a Super Bowl as last season. Like,
Second last.
oh, did he play next year? Okay.
Yeah, and he was
I'm
awful.
Did he have was that his final year, that play versus San Francisco, where
No,
he
that
just
was-
went fucking beast mode?
That might have been the year we won the Super Bowl, actually.
I can't remember what year that was. Probably his best play of the career. And
Dude, that's one of the best
sounds
plays in
stupid.
Packers history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that play was so good. All right,
Cody
I'll
brought
take.
up one guy for the last round, also Forrest Craig. That's a good pick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
Okay,
I'll take,
Simon, who's your first guy?
Sterling Sharp.
Sterling Sharp, great pick.
So good.
I'm gonna
Future
go.
Hall of Famer Sterling Sharp.
Okay, ever let him in.
I'm gonna go
He's
Jordy
semifinalist
Nelson,
this
and then
year.
I will be right back.
Oh, I hate you.
He's a semifinalist this year.
He is.
Is
All
he?
time.
Hopefully they
Yeah.
finally let him in.
Him and who's the old coach? Can't think of his name.
Holmgren.
Holmgren.
I think it has a lot to do with his brother finally like, dude, this dude was saying that, talking about how Shannon is a way better player than him, saying that he's the second best Sharp in the, in the
That was
family.
during his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
But he's talked about it, I think, on when he used to be on First Take before, or
I,
not First Take, whatever the
First
hell
things
that's
first. It was first.
Yeah,
things
before Skip blew that.
And now Andy has a podcast, so he gets a lot of views on the podcast.
Yeah.
does he? I didn't know he did his own podcast.
His podcast.
Did you
is
see
pretty good.
Sherman is supposed to take his spot?
Whose spot?
Richard Sherman?
Yeah, Richard Sherman's supposed to
Oh,
take.
that's gonna last
Skip's
about 2
spot.
minutes.
Or
Richard
yeah,
Sherman
Sam-
and Skip Bayless are going to sit down and talk to each other
Yep.
about sports.
Yep.
I do not want to hear Richard Sherman's opinion on baseball or basketball. What the fuck?
Also, I just think that's a fucking poor combination, but
It's horrible. I think Skip Bayless is the worst. So anything with Skip Bayless, I'm
he's
out.
fucking terrible.
He's easily the worst. I got a tight end here. He was my favorite player for a long time, and I know a lot of people gave him some flack, but I'm going Jermichael Finley.
Yep, that's a good one.
Good
Oh
one.
yeah, I had him on my list too. This is a
So-
long list. Like the 80s were
Dude.
really
Oh yeah.
good.
I had to put 90s on the other side because I had so many fucking 80s, dude.
So many 80s. dude.
So there's a couple players I like here. One of them also like Jermichael Finley, gets a lot of kind of flack that I'm thinking about, but yeah, I'll go with him. I'll go with Greg Jennings because
Yeah.
if without him we don't win the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, there's
That
so
play
many
where he
plays.
gets fucking walloped. Ooh.
Yeah. We don't win the Super Bowl without that play. There's
Yeah.
an overtime play in Denver. I think that was still with
Yeah.
Favre. Like, there's a lot
Yeah.
of just a lot of great plays that he made. Yeah,
he
you know,
had some elite plays.
You can be upset with his opinions or what he had to say about Aaron and all that stuff, but he was a great player. It's gonna be interesting. Side note, since we're waiting for Tyler anyway, real quick, I'm really interested to watch this year of Hard Knocks and see how Aaron actually interacts with people and stuff like that. That's gonna be interesting. You see, he threw a fit about it already too.
I
I
mean,
didn't see what he said.
who honestly wants to be on fucking Hard Knocks though?
I
Yeah,
don't think
but
anybody does.
I think it's really funny with.
The
Well, I
players
guess
really don't want it.
I heard the Lions wanted it again, but they didn't give it to him.
The Lions
Something like
wanted
that.
it again.
I thought, or they were talking about possibly putting it
Really?
on him again.
I mean, I guess like. So who ends up making that decision, right? Is it
So-
like the owner or?
the NFL tells them like, and there's only 4 teams eligible this year, and the Jet, like, let's all be honest, we talked about this before. It was going to be the Jets all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
Once they got rocked,
Chicago said
Yeah.
no to it as well.
Yeah. Well, and all of them said no, but yeah,
Packers
they
might
might.
have a
The
chance
Packers
next
might
year.
be on it. I've never
Yeah,
been on it.
because-
There's a chance they'll be on it next year,
because
It's
you missed the
just
playoffs 2 years in a
yeah,
row.
it's
Yeah. and not a new head coach.
Yep. So that'll be pretty crazy. I'm cool with Jennings again. To be honest with you, Jennings caught a lot of big time passes for the Packers. You brought up the one in Denver. He caught Favre's 420th touchdown, or
Yeah.
420 or 421. I forgot which
Yeah.
one it was.
Go back and watch the Super Bowl when he's talking to Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. He
Yep.
said, they're dropping this route. They're dropping this route.
Yep. And he threw a
He
corner
throws
route.
the clutch touchdown right there to him in the corner. I think Simon, you're up next here with the 80s.
Yeah, I was
We can
just
wait on
trying
Tyler.
to. I mean, I was kind of just letting shit roll since we're waiting on Tyler, anyways.
You could pick and we'll just discuss.
Yeah, I was thinking because there's so many good ones. I'll take Antonio Freeman.
He did what? That's
Oh!
not literally who I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say the line. He did
I
what?
Yeah.
That was he's number 3 on my list.
Yeah, it's fun meeting
He's
him
an-
last year. Or was it last year we met him? Or
No, it was 2 years ago, man.
Oh, okay.
Wait, yeah, it was 2 years. No, fuck.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
I'm back.
perfect timing. I did.
So Tyler,
I-
to catch you up, I took Jermichael Finley. Bryant took Greg Jennings, and then we had Antonio Freeman drafted by Simon.
So you're telling me that James Lofton is still available?
I had him. I was considering it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take James Lofton. You have to go back in the record books, but he's one of the best wide receivers in NFL history.
Yeah,
Oh,
what he did in that era is insane.
Yeah.
I have 3 people. One of them is not like considered really a wide receiver. All right. All right. I'm just gonna go with Hoodie James Jones.
Yep.
It's a good pick.
James Jones.
I love it. He was a
Hell yeah.
monster.
I had Jeff Janis on my list. I couldn't
Get fucked.
I had to have him on the list, even if I didn't pick him, just because of like just the memories of those
Yeah.
couple plays.
That's fair.
And
You
then
could
I
do
had
that
to
with like
talk
someone like
Frank.
Richard Rodgers and stuff too.
I was gonna
had to
put
talk
Bubba
Franks
Frank.
on the list.
Yes, the king of the
I had
1 yard
him too.
touchdown, baby.
So I also had Andre Rison, Max McGee,
Mm.
Robert Brooks, and Mercedes Lewis.
Yep.
What
I have
about-
McGee, too. Legend for
The-
being drunk at the Super
The only
Bowl?
one I had
Oh,
left
yeah.
was Brandon Bostic. Is that
Get-
still in here?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Geronimo Allison?
Oh hell
There you
yeah!
Oh, Geronimo!
His tweets, bro. His tweets.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about those. That's a
I think I was driving back from a game that me and you went with, and I was texting you laughing about him.
Cody said if only Aberdaris had panned out, that would have been a good one.
He would have been all-time Packers.
Yeah, from Wisconsin, went to Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been
Yeah.
an all-time Wisconsin boy, dude.
True.
He had a
True.
chance.
Yeah, he did have the chance. All
We
right.
could've put Bill Schroeder. He played softball with our dads, Tyler.
Yeah.
He used to play in
Yeah.
Sheboygan.
Yeah. All right. Last one, 90 through 99.
90s were so good too.
There is a lot of good
I
ones.
love
There
the
really
90s.
is. All righty. Simon, you get to go first for this one. I'm glad this worked out evenly.
It's Reggie White.
Reggie White, great pick.
I literally hope
I
you
get-
sleep like shit, by the way.
I will. That's the funny part.
Okay. So I gotta go number 90. Give me BJ Raji.
Yes, sir.
Also a very solid pick.
I just think of his dance in the NFC
And
Championship.
then, yeah. You know what?
That's all I think of.
So, okay, little really fun, awkward story, but like my wife doesn't really pay attention to the Packers. Like she's happy if they win because then like I'll be in a better mood or whatever. But like she doesn't like really watch the games or pay attention.
Yeah.
But she remembers BJ Raji's pick 6 because
Hell
she
yeah.
remembers him dancing in the end zone.
Hell yeah.
So like anytime I'm like name a Packer, she's like BJ Raji. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind because that's like her core memory of a Packers player.
I also like the ongoing joke of like Aaron Nagler, where it's like bring back
yeah.
BJ Raji.
Yeah.
He only
Even though it's
retired,
like-
a year or two early. It's
Yeah.
not like he did a Chris Borland where he
still-
only played one
still-
season and then retired.
I still make the joke every year. I don't care.
I thought
I
he
mean, how many
retired quite
people
a bit
said bring
earlier.
back 36-year-old Clay Matthews last year?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
still
Oh my
still going.
goodness.
Yeah.
All righty, Jake. Who's your first 90 through 99?
Kabir Baja
Oh.
Biamila.
Damn it!
Jay.
I
hate
love
you.
it.
I call my dad Faja Biamila.
All right. So, Bryant, who is your first one?
I guess I better go with. This is tough because there's 2 I really like here, and I know one of them's not making him back. But I'll go with Gilbert Brown.
That's a good one.
Oh, grave digger.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That is.
I just like imagine just like the gigantic shoulder pads that the
Yeah.
dude had.
He's 400 pounds with a visor, dude. What? You don't get more swag than that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's over.
His Riz was strong.
Plus
Dude, he's literally
Grave-
every
Gravedigger?
graded Madden running back.
Plus Gravedigger. How can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was Cody's.
What do you say?
He said Bryant got mine, so he was thinking Gilbert Brown.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, back to Simon.
So he didn't have like a super long tenure, but early 2000s, Cletus Hunt.
Oh, Cleated. Oh, I like it. Cletus
name.
Hunt.
What a name.
Yeah.
Cletus Hunt?
Cletus.
No, Cletus.
Cletus. Okay.
Cletus. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Cletus. Adidas. Whatever.
His nickname was Big Block or Nuke.
That's
Nice.
All right. I gotta go with a fun name to say. Give me number 97. Give me Johnny Jolly.
Wow.
Oh,
I had him on my list too.
yes. If we ever need some Cody, and he's the guy, huh? All right. I'm gonna go with a 97 as well. I'm going with Big Kenny Clark.
And Clark.
Great
love
pick
him.
from me. All right. Well, this is someone that's been on our team for the last several years. He's, up, down, up, down, up, down. But I love his consistency, and he didn't get kind of swayed by his Smith brothers. So I'll give me Preston Smith.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like it. I like that. Love me some Preston Smith. All righty, Tim, you caught us just as we're wrapping up. This was fun to bring up some names. I'm totally drawing a blank on his first
Tari
name now.
Bigby. Let's go. Sam Congato.
Sam Congato was a great name to bring up.
Such a name.
Toss out names like Geronimo Allison and remember James Starks and
Yeah.
Bubba Franks and
There's others we didn't
Chad
even so many we
Clifton,
didn't
dude.
talk about.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
think during this segment I was gonna hear Chad Clifton.
so this was a lot of fun.
He was a rock, man. I love Chad.
If you didn't get to watch this
Pickett.
live, we talked obviously
Yeah.
about all the Jordan Love aspects that we're going to be watching for his development in the season, and then we did all of our drafting our Packers names by the jersey numbers. Cody threw out Mark Tauscher. Jake almost picked him in the
Ooh,
Badgers
good
draft
one.
also.
Yeah.
I did. He was a Badger and a Packer.
Yeah. So this was fun. Like I enjoyed doing this. We'll try to come up. I'm sure we'll come up with more ideas for doing some fun draft stuff like this.
Jay
once in a
Cutler.
while.
He was a Packers player.
Cody said Jay Cutler.
It's a good one.
He- one of the best quarterbacks in Packers history for sure. So this was fun to do. Jake and I did Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers a couple weeks ago. If you want to check that one out, that one was a good time also. Simon, Brian, appreciate you guys hopping on to this, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Definitely tune in 2 weeks from now because that'll be our stat projection episode. That one is sure to be full of some really fun stuff and really fun discussions. So,
For sure.
all righty. Well, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks then. Jake, I will see you on Wednesday.
Oh, and we're gonna talk about a series win versus the Reds. Can't wait.
Yes.